Let me tell you about Renato. He's the kind of person who always felt like he was one step ahead. At least, that's what he told himself. From the moment I first met him, it was glaring how much effort he put into controlling every detail of his life, especially his money. He kept meticulous spreadsheets, tracking every cent, every expense, as if the act itself would somehow keep wealth permanently locked in his grasp. For Renato, control wasn't just a habit, it was a responsibility. If he didn't organize everything down to the last centavo, he believed chaos would take over, his financial stability would crumble, and everything he'd built would disappear in an instant. I remember sitting across from him one evening, watching him obsessively check his bank app, adjusting budgets, verifying forecasts for what felt like the 100th time that week. It wasn't just about budgeting, though. There was this underlying tension in Renato's mind, an almost subconscious fear that if he relaxed his grip, if he loosened the reins just a little, somehow the money would slip away. It was as if he thought that trusting would be irresponsible, careless even, that if he let go, he might lose control entirely. But what really struck me, even back then, was how this relentless need to control was rooted in something deeper, something that had very little to do with money and everything to do with trust. Or rather, the lack of it. Over the months, I began to see a pattern emerge not just in Renato's financial habits, but in his entire energy around abundance. There was a constant nervousness, like a faint hum of worry that never quite disappeared. No matter how much money he accumulated or how carefully he planned, there was always an underlying sense that it wouldn't last, that something was waiting to drain it away. And I started to understand that his obsession with control wasn't just about managing wealth. It was about managing his fear of losing it. It was almost like he believed that by obsessively micromanaging every detail, he could somehow cheat the universe out of taking what was his, that he could prevent the inevitable from happening. But here's the thing I came to realize. Controlling everything isn't the same as trusting. It's not even close. In truth, it's a form of energetic distrust, embedded so deeply that Renato didn't even notice. Every time he tightened his grip on his budget or tried to micromanage his cash flow, what he was really telling himself was, "I don't believe it will come back." It's a message he was sending to his subconscious, to his energy field, and, unsurprisingly, it was reflected in his reality. No matter how much effort he put into control, the results he experienced often felt like a constant fight, a tug-of-war where he was always trying to hold on to what he had, as if it could be snatched away at any moment. I've seen this pattern play out in many lives, but Renato's case was vivid. Because in his desire to protect what he thought was his, he was actually pushing away the flow of abundance, creating a barrier he didn't even realize he'd built himself. We believe, often unconsciously, that our effort is what keeps wealth secure, when in truth, it's the vibration we emit about trust and ease. And it's that subtle energetic message, whether we realize it or not, that determines whether abundance flows freely or gets blocked. What I've come to understand after witnessing Renato's journey is that real security comes when we stop trying to control everything outside and start trusting what's inside. Trust that the universe is always working for us, that money is simply energy in motion, and that we don't have to wrestle it into place like it's some fragile treasure we can lose at any second. We don't need to obsessively monitor, plan, or micromanage every detail to feel safe. Instead, we can choose to relax into a space of clarity and gratitude, knowing deep in our bones that everything we desire is already headed our way. That's a lesson I'd love to share with you because I see the same fears playing out in your life, too. Fears that tell you, if I don't hold tight, it'll all slip away. But what if you realize that the act of letting go is actually the act of inviting abundance in? That trusting, even in the midst of uncertainty, is the true key to financial freedom and peace. That's where Renato's story begins, and where yours can start, too. What I've realized over time is that attempting to keep everything tightly wrapped around your finances can turn into a stealthy form of energetic fatigue. Think about it. When you're constantly on edge, mentally scanning your accounts, second-guessing every purchase, and obsessing over deficits, you're not really conserving energy, you're draining it. This mental exhaustion doesn't just wear you down, it subtly shifts your vibration toward scarcity. The more you dwell on what's missing or the potential threat of a financial dip, the more your subconscious receives that message. There's not enough. You need to hold on tighter. This kind of thinking anchors you deeper into a sense of lack rather than attracting what you desire. Furthermore, a rigid mindset around money acts like blinders on a horse. It prevents you from seeing opportunities that are actually right in front of you. When every unexpected expense feels like a threat, it's as if your perception narrows, filtering out the abundance that's constantly circulating around you. It can be likened to walking through a lush orchard with blinders over your eyes, focusing only on the one rotten fruit rather than noticing all the ripe, beautiful apples within arm's reach. Your energy becomes so fixated on avoiding loss that you don't even notice the new doors opening or the potential pathways that could lead to growth. Now, consider how this approach impacts your capacity to make inspired decisions. When your focus is rooted in fear, if I don't watch every penny, I'll be left with nothing, it clouds your judgment. Decisions made from a place of desperation rarely lead to expansion. Instead, they often create self-fulfilling limitations. Conversely, when you cultivate a different energy, one grounded in clarity, trust, and appreciation, you begin to see options you previously dismissed. Suddenly, opportunities appear almost effortlessly, not because they weren't there before, but because your attention has shifted away from scarcity and toward possibility. This shift is comparable to changing the aperture of a camera lens. When you tighten the lens, less light enters, and everything blurs into a dull shadow of what could be. Loosen it, however, and suddenly, what was previously hidden, details, colors, textures, become vivid and distinct. When you relax your focus on the how, and instead tune into the feeling of abundance, feeling as if your needs are already met, you're opening that aperture wider. This enables vibrant opportunities, financial blessings, and intuitive insights to flood your awareness. Your mindset acts like the filter through which potential flows, and the clearer that filter, the more radiant your reality becomes. Another facet worth exploring involves the subconscious programming that keeps money as a source of constant worry. Our beliefs about wealth are often formed early through childhood messages, societal norms, or past experiences. For many, these ingrained patterns introduce a sense of guilt, shame, or even suspicion when it comes to prosperity. When we view wealth as something earned only through struggle or sacrifice, we inadvertently set up energetic resistance. This resistance acts like a barrier, an unseen wall, blocking the easy flow of abundance. The more you reinforce these narratives, either consciously or unconsciously, the more you echo the idea that money is a limited resource you must fight to obtain. What I've seen is that replacing these old beliefs with empowering perceptions constitutes a form of emotional excavation. It involves questioning long-held stories and replacing them with affirmations rooted in abundance. Stories like, money flows easily to me, or I am worthy of financial freedom. By doing so, you rewire your subconscious, reshaping your energetic landscape to one that invites wealth rather than repels it. It's remarkable how, with consistent focus, those deep-seated narratives dissolve, creating space for fresh, abundant vibrations to take their place. This process requires patience, but also a gentle commitment to mindfulness. When you notice your mind slipping back into fear-based thinking, gently redirect it toward gratitude for what you have now. Recognize the small wins, the resources already available, even if they seem insignificant. This practice not only shifts your emotional state, but also reinforces the belief that abundance is already present and that more is simply amplifying what's already there. It's like tending a garden, removing weeds of doubt and planting seeds of trust again and again, knowing that with time, the soil will grow abundant fruit. By illuminating these alternative perspectives, you begin to see that money isn't meant to be a source of constant stress, but a reflection of your vibrational harmony. Recognize that releasing the need to constantly micromanage allows you to tap into a deeper, more intuitive guidance. When trust replaces the need for control, your energy becomes lighter, your decisions become more aligned with your highest good, and wealth begins to flow with a natural ease that feels right, genuine, effortless, and sustainable. Imagine standing in a vast, open sky, feeling the wind whisper softly against your skin. This is the space where trust resides, an expansive, limitless realm where uncertainty is no longer a threat, but a gentle invitation to relax into the flow. In this place, control dissipates like fog at dawn, replaced by a conscious choice to simply be with the unfolding. It's a transition from mental wrestling to a state of surrender, where you begin to understand that effort isn't the currency of abundance. Instead, your core moves toward aligning your internal vibrations with the effortless rhythm of the universe. This shift requires a deep energy recalibration. Let me tell you about a moment I experienced, standing in a quiet forest, overwhelmed by the sheer power of presence. I realized that trying to micromanage my finances was like trying to direct the wind with my hands. No matter how tightly I clench, I cannot control its movement, but I can learn to trust its natural course, to flow with it, rather than against it. That's the fundamental difference I'm pointing to. Instead of forcing outcomes, I prefer to set a clear intention and then allow the universe to orchestrate the details in ways that are often beyond our conscious comprehension. Now, picture how this plays out practically in daily life. It might mean choosing to focus on the feeling of financial ease, without fixating on whether your bank account matches your expectations. It could involve acknowledging the presence of abundance in your environment, perhaps a kind word, a new opportunity, or an unexpected resource, without demanding that it fit into your strict schedule or preconceived plan. When you shift from a mindset of control to one of gentle clarity, a subtle kind of confidence emerges. You recognize that clarity is not about obsessing over specifics, but about maintaining a steady, unwavering trust that all things are aligning for your greater good. In truth, relinquishing of control is one of the most profound acts of self-love you can practice. It's saying to yourself, I trust myself to handle whatever comes, and I trust the universe to support my highest good. This mental stance acts like a potent magnet, attracting circumstances that support your growth rather than obstacles that reinforce your fears. The difference lies in the vibration you hold, where insecurity breeds resistance. Calm assurance invites abundance to enter with grace. Once I adopted this, I began noticing synchronicities, small signs that confirmed I was on the right path, without the need to analyze or scrutinize each occurrence. Building on this, I learned that a key element in this transformation is patience. Impatience often stems from feelings that the universe is slow or unreliable, yet this is a misconception rooted in our limited perception of time. Understanding that all things are unfolding perfectly, even when they don't appear to be, is a vital step. Paradoxically, when you release attachment to specific outcomes and instead focus on your emotional alignment, manifestations tend to arrive more quickly and with less stress. It is as if you're clearing out the clutter within your energetic space, allowing your desires to flow into your reality more smoothly. Another important tip I can share involves anchoring your trust through intentional gratitude. When you acknowledge what is already present with genuine appreciation, you create an energetic environment that welcomes more of the same. Think of gratitude as planting seeds in fertile ground, each one germinating into abundance sooner because your focus is on what you already have, not what's missing. This act of appreciation lifts your vibration, aligning you with the frequency of prosperity. Over time, this practice erodes the need for control, replacing it with a sense of serenity and confidence that the universe will provide exactly what you need in precisely the right moment. Finally, consider how this expanded trust influences your response to setbacks. When obstacles appear, instead of perceiving them as confirmation of failure or loss, view them as part of the unfolding story, details that are meant to refine, teach, and direct you closer to your goals. This perspective is transformative. It shifts the energy from resistance to curiosity, making challenges feel less like threats and more like opportunities for growth. The secret is recognizing that control is born from fear, whereas trust blossoms from faith, that the energy you emit shapes the experiences that come to you. When your focus is on feeling supported and aligned, that support manifests in ways that often surpass your previous expectations. By embodying this new mental stance, you begin to see your financial landscape transform, not through force, but through a natural, effortless flow. Your role becomes one of gentle guidance, not rigid dictatorship. You become a conscious co-creator, working in harmony with life instead of fighting it. In doing so, you open the door to a world where abundance feels less like a distant goal and more like a daily reality. An ongoing dance with the energy of prosperity that's always present, waiting patiently for you to trust enough to step into it. Imagine stepping into a room filled with walls crafted from your deepest expectations and limiting beliefs. Each barrier you've built, consciously or unconsciously, shapes the way energy flows freely or gets blocked. Without awareness, these invisible walls become reinforced by the stories you tell yourself in moments of doubt or fear. Ever notice how, during times of stress, thoughts spiral into a tight loop of "I can't" or "it's impossible"? These mental corridors echo with resistance, which inadvertently stiffens the flow of abundance. Recognizing this is crucial because it shifts the perspective from a passive recipient to an active architect of your emotional landscape. Building on this, it's essential to see how small, seemingly insignificant signals can act as subtle but powerful markers of your internal state. Imagine every thought as a tiny ripple moving across a pond. Most of us overlook how these ripples intersect and influence the overall pattern. If negative thoughts dominate, the ripples radiate outward, eventually forming a current of stagnation. Conversely, consistent positive affirmations generate waves that gather momentum, creating a flowing stream of opportunities. The challenge lies in maintaining that positive momentum, especially when faced with setbacks that appear to affirm old fears. However, every time you bring awareness to these internal ripples, you gain a chance to redirect. It's akin to a swimmer who learns to adjust course in the water, guiding energy instead of fighting against it. Now, consider how your environment plays a subtle yet undeniable role in reinforcing subconscious programming. Surrounded by messages of scarcity, whether through media, conversations, or societal norms, your mental filters can become inundated with negativity. These external cues act like background noise that, over time, drowns out any signal of possibility you might want to send. Removing or reducing exposure to scarcity narratives doesn't mean retreating into isolation. It involves actively curating your surroundings to cultivate what aligns with growth. For example, replacing news snippets filled with fear and lack with stories of abundance, success, and gratitude can rewire your perceptual lens. Over time, this shift doesn't just influence how you see the world. It genuinely transforms how energy moves through your life, opening pathways previously blocked by doubt. Another layer to explore is how attention acts as a magnetic field, drawing experiences into your life. Focus creates a vibrational imprint, which acts like a beacon for opportunities aligned with your predominant beliefs. When attention perpetually circles around what's missing or why things won't work, it magnetizes more lacks to reinforce that belief. Conversely, dedicating mental space to envisioning solutions, however far-fetched they seem at first, begins to shift your energetic pattern toward possibility. Think of your mind as a garden. Watering seeds of positive expectation will eventually lead to shoots of growth, even if the roots are stubborn and resistant at first. Patience is vital here because each cultivated thought, each intentional focus, serves as an investment in future realities. It's also worth addressing how external validation influences inner confidence. Many of us find ourselves seeking constant reassurance from circumstances or other people, waiting for external signs of acceptance before feeling worthy of abundance. Yet in doing so, we unintentionally tether our sense of security to unstable ground. Instead, cultivating a strong internal anchor, a quiet assurance rooted in self-trust, becomes vital. This isn't about ignoring reality, but about developing a foundation of certainty within that is resilient to external chaos. As this inner steadiness grows, it acts as a magnet, attracting circumstances that reflect that deep-seated confidence. When confidence is firmly anchored within, every challenge becomes an opportunity for learning rather than proof of deficiency. This inner shift shifts energy, making it easier for abundance to flow seamlessly. Finally, observe how emotional clarity sharpens the focus on desired outcomes. Emotions act as signals amplifying intentions. When feelings are clouded by fear or frustration, intentions become muddled, losing their potency. Conversely, cultivating feelings of joy, gratitude, and excitement programs the subconscious mind to expect success. Imagine preparing a fertile field for planting. If the soil is hardened by doubt, growth is stunted. But if you nurture it with patience, care, and awareness, the seeds you plant will take root and flourish. Regularly tuning into positive emotional states creates a powerful energetic momentum, which pulls opportunities into your life with irresistible force. Over time, this emotional discipline transforms the once static landscape of your financial and personal reality into a vibrant, ever-expanding garden. In summary, by mastering the art of redirecting mental pathways, nurturing a constructive environment, and cultivating emotions aligned with growth, you transition from reactive to proactive co-creation. No longer are you at the mercy of random circumstances, but become a conscious artist shaping your experience with clarity, confidence, and intention, ensuring that the flow of prosperity no longer encounters resistance, but moves effortlessly toward you. Reflecting on this journey so far, it's remarkable how the threads of thought we've woven intertwine to create a tapestry of understanding. I find myself contemplating how the mental and emotional currents we set in motion shape the very fabric of our reality, much like skilled artisans weaving threads into a larger pattern. Each strand, be it belief, emotion, or intention, contributes to an overall design that influences future experiences in subtle yet profound ways. It's as if our inner landscape functions as a fertile ground, where the quality of our seeds determines what grows. As I consider the power of internal perceptions, I realize that holding a consistent space of calm and clarity acts as a catalyst, aligning our energy with the natural rhythm of abundance. What strikes me is the delicacy of this balance, how delicate shifts in focus, emotion, and belief can redirect the flow of opportunities. It's akin to steering a ship. Small adjustments to the helm can eventually set a vessel on a completely different course. The effort then transforms from forceful exertion to gentle guidance, an art of trusting the currents rather than fighting them. This understanding reveals something crucial about ourselves, that beneath layers of conditioned doubts and fears lie reservoirs of untapped potential, waiting for awareness to activate. By tuning into our deeper selves, beyond surface fears and fleeting worries, we make it possible for genuine harmony to emerge naturally. It's a tacit invitation to acknowledge how our inner state becomes a magnet, drawing circumstances toward us in a dance that's less about effort and more about alignment. In this dance, every step of confidence, patience, and gratitude orchestrates a movement that can't be forced, only invited. From this vantage point, it becomes clearer how destructive it is to see ourselves as mere spectators or victims of external forces. Instead, we start to appreciate that the true power resides within, an inner orchestration that, when recognized and nurtured, transforms seemingly mundane moments into catalysts for transformation. The energy we invest in shifting perspectives, in cultivating appreciation or embracing possibility, isn't merely a mental exercise. It's a vital act of creation. This process is both subtle and immensely potent, shifting subtle vibrations that ripple outward. There's this quiet knowing that an innate intelligence guides everything, an elegant intelligence that intricately responds to the resonance we emit. When consciousness aligns with clarity, trust, and gratitude, it enables us to become co-authors of our stories. The leap from feeling as though we are at the mercy of circumstances to recognizing ourselves as active participants is almost imperceptible, but its effects are tremendous. It's an awakening to the realization that inner shifts precipitate outer transformations, often in ways that surpass initial expectations. What's even more compelling is how this reorientation allows us to shed the heaviness of doubt and fear, replacing it with a freedom that feels almost tangible. It's like discovering you've been holding a stone in your hand, only to realize that by loosening your grip, you can open your fingers and let it fall away. Without resistance, things begin to shift naturally, revealing opportunities that once seemed hidden or inaccessible. The sense of struggle diminishes, replaced by a growing awareness that smooth, effortless currents are always flowing beneath the surface of our daily lives. In this space, the landscape of possibilities expands, revealing that what seemed locked or impossible was simply awaiting our recognition. We become conscious navigators, learning to listen more intently to the subtle signs that guide us through the shifting terrain of hopes and doubts alike. It's as if a gentle breeze whispers guidance, encouraging us to step into a new understanding of how the flow of life works. Recognizing the depth of this interconnectedness fills me with a sense of reverence, an acknowledgement that true mastery lies in trusting that the most intricate designs are woven by unseen hands, guiding us toward the abundance that's always been within reach. As I reflect on everything we've explored, I see a deeper truth emerging, one that goes beyond simple techniques or concepts. It's about awakening to an innate power that most of us have been conditioned to overlook or forget. It's the understanding that beneath the surface of our daily routines and worries lies a vast, vibrant intelligence, an energy connected to all living things, always ready to respond to our true intentions. Recognizing this can feel both humbling and exhilarating because it means that the creation of our reality isn't a distant, unpredictable process. It's a natural dance that responds to the quality of our inner state. There's a gentle shift that takes place when we choose to see ourselves not as passive recipients, but as active participants shaping everything that unfolds. It's a realization that every thought, every feeling, is a brushstroke contributing to the masterpiece we experience. We might mistake daily challenges as signs of chaos or randomness, but often, they serve as invitations to tune into what's really happening beneath the surface. They are clues guiding us back toward alignment, reminding us of the power we hold to direct energy through awareness and intention. This understanding deepens as I witness how moments of pause, of conscious reflection, bring us closer to a sense of wholeness. In those stillnesses, we can feel the gentle, persistent voice within urging us to trust our own capacity for harmony. Everything we desire already exists in this expansive field of possibility. Our task becomes simply to open our hearts wide enough to receive it, not with force or struggle, but through a radiant openness rooted in genuine belief. It's an act of faith, trusting that the unseen forces are constantly guiding us toward experiences that expand our sense of worth, joy, and abundance. What I'm often reminded of is that inner resistance acts as a barrier that keeps these blessings just out of reach. Yet, the more we soften, the more we release the need to control outcomes, the clearer the picture becomes. When effort is replaced by clarity and gratitude, we align with a vibration that naturally attracts what's meant for us. That alignment isn't something we chase after. It's cultivated moment by moment through awareness and gentle kindness toward ourselves. It's about cultivating a spaciousness within that allows new possibilities to emerge, possibilities that previously might have seemed impossible, crazy even, yet they're waiting quietly at the threshold. From this perspective, abundant living becomes less about forcing circumstances into place and more about becoming a magnet for experiences that resonate with our authentic selves. When we view ourselves as co-creators, the weight of constant striving lifts, replaced with a sense of wonder and curiosity. Life begins to feel less like a puzzle to solve and more like a journey unfolding naturally, with surprises around every bend. Our role becomes one of stepping into harmony with the underlying intelligence beneath apparent chaos, trusting that each moment carries the potential for growth, transformation, and new levels of prosperity. At the core of it all is a simple but profound insight. We have within us the power to shift our entire experience by shifting how we see and feel about what's happening. It's about tuning into a frequency of appreciation, recognizing that the current moment, no matter how seemingly small, holds the seed of something greater. That perspective transforms struggle into flow, doubt into certainty, and scarcity into abundance. It's a process of constant recentering, a gentle reminder that true mastery lies in surrendering the need to fix everything outside while nurturing the inner landscape. I believe this inner journey is what ultimately restores our connection to infinite potential. As we begin to trust more deeply, give space for our dreams to expand, and forge clarity from chaos, we unlock a capacity for creation that surpasses any program or limitation. In doing so, the experience of life shifts from being something to contend with into an ongoing dance of harmony and flow. And at its very core, That dance is an act of love, an invitation to remember the profound truth that all we seek is already within us, waiting patiently for our recognition. When we embody that truth wholeheartedly, all the pieces fall into place with a sense of ease that feels right in every cell of our being. That is the real magic, to realize we are not separate from abundance, but deeply interconnected with it, simply waiting for us to claim it with an open heart.